intelligent, all of them. They're a different breed, but they work hard. Then you have your sheet metal department installers when we hit a commercial job. And we have that construction department that I call, where Charlie Rosales is in charge. But we've got great supervisors. Those are the key guys.
So how did you learn to build a business like that?
I just thought about it, Mero. It can't be, I couldn't do it all by myself. There's no way. There was a point that we had 200 employees when we had forklifts.
Wow.
We've got something like 80 now. But those guys that went to the other contractor that took over on that contract, he got the cream of the crop. Cream of the crop. Good kids, super good kids. But now we've got 80, 85. I really don't know, Mero. But I also have a cream of the crop. We also have the cream of the crop.
Now, let me ask you, with the SBA, did you ever become a 8A contractor?
Yes, sir. Yes,
you
sir.
got 8A?
Yes, sir.
And
as a matter of fact, that's how we ended up getting that contract. Joe, can't remember. Yeah, you probably, I don't want to name names or anything, but they're wonderful there at the SBA.
Yeah.
All you got to do is work with them.
Yeah.
All you got to do is work with them. And be loyal and honest in the whole 9 yards.
So what did you learn from doing government contracting?
Well, I tell you that the government will always deliver. And I hate to say this, but I hope it doesn't get to them. The people that have to sign off on your ticket, they're so procrastinators that you're waiting and waiting for your money. It's not just this. It's not, here's your bill, and you're going to get it in a month. It was a humongous amount of money owed to us about 3-4 years ago.
So how did you
millions?
How do you operate?
We had it in the bank.
Wow. So what'd you do? Save? Did you learn to save?
Sir. Yes, sir.
You put it in the bank.
Yes, sir. Covered our butts. Covered our butts. Jose is a bright guy, man.
And the banks were good to you.
Yes, sir. Oh, another thing, Jose was actually opened up the door more to getting out there and deal with the banks. Had one bank that came in, we didn't even ask them. They came in, we thought we'd give them a try. We probably had over $1 million in receivables.
Wow.
They made a U-turn, walked out. Talked to another bank, knew our reputation, and said, yeah, here's $1 million.
Wow.
And they got our service. You know what I'm saying?
So what are the secrets of building a business?
Hard work. There is some hard work involved. You're not going to get rich overnight. No, and I don't consider myself rich. Rich with family and friends. Very little friends. The other ones are acquaintances. but really and truly, you really have to get out there and be able to communicate with a new contractor that comes around or whatever. But you just need to ask. There are some jobs that you can negotiate. People don't trust anybody. It's hard to go get a $1 million negotiated job unless they already know your reputation.
But you took care of your employees.
Oh, absolutely.
How'd you take care of your employees?
Well, they have hospitalization insurance, just like Breeze, just like Dan Breeze. Hospitalization insurance, paid holidays, paid vacations, sick leave, a little bit of sick leave, little things that got structured into our policy. And that's all it is. All they got to do is be there.
So what was your job in building the business and building your crew and your team?
Oh, but yeah. Even if I back up, I would always do little speeches to them and tell them about what I used to do. And even if I would get out there on the field and show them a little bit of this, a little bit of that, I'd go visit some job sites. And the key thing, another key thing, if a company is not on top of it, is the safety issue. Safety. If you don't practice that, you're going to have a lot of ay, me duele in the back, and it could be Mickey Mouse. You know, there are some little apples that run around doing that little thing, but you need to take care of those guys and make them aware that we're there, that we have workmen's comp to cover those little injuries.
So you did preventative
Yes.
to prevent
Yes.
workers' comp issues.
Oh, yes, we had safety meetings. Even if it costs you, it's going to cost you. You got 30, 40 guys sitting there. They're all getting paid. You know, they're all getting paid to sit there for 1 hour and see this video. No picking your nose, no hanky-panking. You know, guys, you know, I mean, they pay attention.
So did you bring your daughter into your business early?
Oh, yes, she's probably been working with us for 20 years now.
So she learned the business.
Absolutely. And Jose's got his license, and my daughter's going to school to learn more than that. But bright kids, you know. Everything is, my daughter got a master's in, it's called CIS, Computer Information Systems. Everything's automated.
Wow.
Everything.
And then, but you went through the transition from evaporative to refrigeration.
Yes, sir.
And you made that transition.
Oh, yes, I did do that, you know. I used to do that with Don Breeze before,
Okay.
you know, I used to do installations for him, but I did go to school
Okay.
for you know, installing or handling refrigerant is what we call handling it. Our techs are top of the line kids, and I call them kids. Of course, they're all younger than I am. There's maybe one person that's older than I am in there, and it's a lady. She works in the office, but she's a beautiful lady too, you know, and they're just nice, man, very well.
Let me ask you, as growing a business as a Hispanic, were you aware of, did those issues come up being Hispanic?
Let me go back to the Army. I've always been, I am really colorblind, okay? But I also use the word colorblind. I don't look at Anglo, African American, or Hispanic. You know, I'm still colorblind in that sense. It's not that I wanted to prove to the rest of the world that I, as a Hispanic, I made it or had a successful business. I could have, I'm sure I could have lived in Phoenix, Arizona, and we could have still kicked some butt. Because you have more angles per se in Phoenix, but still, here all you gotta do is just deliver, and have good service.
But in building your business now, you had to change your role. You had to change the way you looked at things
Okay.
as the business grew.
Yes.
Who helped you? Who were the helpers?
As far as the employees or administrative.
Outside, yes. Friends. Did you have friends that helped you? Did you have advisors? Did you have lawyers, bankers, CPAs?
Oh, yes, there were some lawyers, but I had some advisors, and there's where a business will not get up to the top if they do not get people like or to not be afraid to spend some dollars for some. It's not free advice. The advice that's going to come from the gentleman that can sit across the table from you and tell you, look, you need to do this. You need to do this. This is what you need to make an adjustment. And you're not going to cut it. You're not going to get too far if you don't get that type of help.
That's right.
It has. I remember one guy and two guys that they helped me make acquire that contract at Fort Bliss. One of them, his name is Hector. I can't remember his last name. I've seen him in the circuit. Hector and Esther. They were, I do not know what agency it was, but you know, just like you offer that, you offer that same advice. People have to pay. It's not free. It's not free. You have to make a living.
Yeah. Now you call it coaching.
Yeah. Okay, coaching. Okay, and you offer that advice.
Yeah.
But what I'm trying to say is, altogether, that as an owner, you have to spend that money in that direction. Spend it so that somebody can tell you what you're doing wrong.
Yeah, but you were wise enough to do that. Where did that come from?
You know, you got to say, did you make trial and error? No, muy poquitos errores, very little mistakes. Uh, Again, like I say, some of the mistakes that I did was hiring some wrong people. And they didn't deliver, so we got rid of them. And you look until you get somebody that really seems to know their stuff.
But you were open to learning.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
You always were?
At the beginning, no. It's not that I wasn't. I've always been open to learning, but the reason that that another mistake that some young organization can make is because he thinks that he cannot make it. He's not going to make $1, and he'd rather go make $1 than go spend some time here to learn something, whether it's a free seminar at the Hispanic, Hispanic, or at the community college, Hispanic chamber, whatever. And they need to join those little organizations so they can have the network stuff. And you can't sit down and go home and drink your beer and you think, oh, what a hard day I had. Nuh-uh. If you're going to be the leader of that group, you have to get involved.
So the business owner becomes the leader
That's right.
of the business.
That's right. You have to be a leader somewhere along the line.
And you learn leadership in
Yes,
the
sir.
military.
In the Army. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And so you know how to work with men and
With guys. And ladies, too.
yeah.
Well, ladies, too. I mean, you know, I told my daughter a long time ago, look, honey, the world is made for everybody. You're the only child, and you're a girl. You know, I hope that if you ever get married, or no, not really, not necessarily if you ever get married, get an education so that if you ever get married and you end up with a bum, you can dump him. Hello. You know, the world is different nowadays, you know. That way you don't have to really depend on him. But my daughter is great. She's lucky.
So you built a legacy.
Well, I hope I did. And I do mean this, Homero, because my employees have always been the backbone. There's a phrase that goes that a company is only as strong as its administration. Well, I agree with that one, but the company's also as strong as the employees that deliver quality work.
Wow. And where did you learn that?
I've always said that. That's just my own. I've never seen it written in a book or anything, but I've heard that comment that a company is as good as its own, as good as its administration. Well, administrators can be out there, but they ain't going to be out there beating the bushes or doing the pretty duck work and everything. It's the two ways.
But that's what you did for Don Breeze. And that's what you did for your employers.
I was a supervisor.
So you learned.
Yes, sir.
Good.
Yes, sir.
Well, you know, Mr. Reyes, it's a wonderful story that you have and a legacy that you're leaving.
Well, thank you.
And you know, what piece of advice would you give? A young business owner who's trying to build a business?
I would tell them not to be afraid. First of all, they're going to sacrifice. You have to sacrifice. You're not going to get rich from one day to another. Get yourself a nice business plan. Listen to coaches like you. Listen to coaches. Spend that money. It's money well spent, but you got to spend it. It's money well spent. Learning from a coach. Go to seminars. There's time. I understand some of them might be young and have little ones. They got to take them here and there. But if Mama wants to get involved, she needs to go along too. But they need to. Don't be afraid to spend that little almighty dollar on coaching. That is what would have helped me a lot back then. I did struggle, like I say, and get your financial stuff in line. Yeah. Be frugal with your money, and just because you see, and turn it back into the company.
Yeah, that's right. Fantastic.
Yes, sir.
Well, you have a wonderful story. You built a beautiful business, and you struggled through it.